Hello Year 5 and welcome to your fourth lesson for the Spring 1 term unit for RE, focusing on our concept of ritual. It'd be really lovely this week if more of you were able to send in examples of your work you've completed, particularly as this week focuses on your own responses and experience of rituals in your lives. Today we're going to be describing and explaining different types of rituals in your own experience. So we're thinking more along the lines of what ritual means to you personally, what rituals you perform or you've been part of. If you had to answer and pick a side, which would you place yourself on? Yes, I think I do perform a ritual in my life or have been involved in one. No, I don't think I perform a ritual. Have a moment to think and see which side you would choose. You may well have placed yourself on the side that you did not involve yourself in any rituals. But my question to you would be, who hugs someone when they see them? I know that's slightly limiting now, unfortunately, but I'm sure there are still people in your family who are able to get a hug from. The reason I ask is because hugging is thought of as a greeting ritual when you see someone. Why might that be? Greeting someone can be a special, meaningful moment, particularly if you've not seen them for a long time and it shows how much you care for them. Have a little think then about other rituals that may be considered non-religious. What about singing happy birthday? Have you been involved in singing happy birthday or blowing out candles to make a wish? Sending thank you cards for gifts that you may have received for birthdays or Christmases? For each of the examples of making a wish and blowing out candles, sending a thank you card, and singing happy birthday, could you make some notes for each idea here to explain how these may also be considered as non-religious rituals? What is it about them that makes them a ritual? Pause the video and write a few notes to help you. So let's have a look at how some of these might be considered as non-religious rituals. Singing happy birthday, for example, is a celebration of the person themselves. It's a way to make the person feel special or important on their day. What about blowing out the candles to make a wish? It has meaning to the person involved that their wish will come true. It is thought sometimes if all candles are blown out, it can be considered good luck for the year ahead. Sending thank you cards for gifts received can be considered a ritual as a way to show gratitude or thanks to the person who sent the gift in the first place. It has meaning to the person receiving the thank you card as they know the gift they sent has been appreciated by you. Have a moment to think then, why are these rituals and not routines? Hopefully you should realise it's to do with the meaning involved in each of the experiences. Are there any other examples of non-religious rituals that you do or might have been involved with in the past? For example, what about rituals in other situations or clubs or groups you may join in? For example, Cubs or Scouts or Brownies, Beavers, martial arts, gym club, football, just to name a few. There'll be other groups or situations that you would have been involved in that may well have involved completing a ritual. Make a list of any groups or situations you've been in and any rituals that you've been part of for that group or situation, and how they've been performed because of their meaning important to that group or club. For example, I know that when I was younger as part of Brownies, we had to say a brownie promise at the beginning of each of our lessons or groups as we joined together, and that brownie promise was made every week. Is there anything that you do or have done that involves a religious element to a ritual? Remember, you don't need to be religious to have been part of something religious like a ritual. For example, it may well have been that you've been lucky enough to have some involvement in a wedding as a ritual or a christening or another religious rite of passage, maybe even prayer or examples at school. Add to your list that you had just started of any other rituals that you feel you've been part of, so your list will now contain non-religious rituals and religious rituals that you may also have been involved in. Keep this list safe because you will need it to help you to complete your main activity today. Pause the video and continue to make a list of any other rituals you have been part of. For your main activity today, I would like you to consider one of the rituals you have from your list, whether it be a non-religious ritual or a religious ritual you've been part of. I would like you to firstly draw yourself on the worksheet provided, performing the ritual that you have chosen. And then on the right-hand side, I would like you to describe and explain it to show in what way it was a ritual. So the first section asks you to complete the section, I have had an experience of being a part of a ritual when, so here you will complete what ritual that was or what group you were part of and what it was exactly you had to do that made it a ritual. So for example, for me, I have had an experience of being part of a ritual when I was part of the brownie group and I was asked to say the brownie promise in my sessions and meetup times to show my commitment to the group and the promises that I would make in my life. I know it was a ritual because it had a special meaning to me. That meaning was important and represented or symbolised the group that I belonged to, which at the time was brownies. Here's an example where it says other rituals my friend or family member has been involved in to include. So if you go back to the top of the page here, it says to describe and explain a ritual you've been part of, which I've just shown you an example of with my brownie example, and what it was and why it was a ritual. And it says compared with someone else you might know. Obviously this would have been slightly easier had you been in school, but this could include, it says here, a family member or someone at home that you could share examples of rituals with that they've learnt about, or you could give them examples of rituals you've learnt about to give them some ideas. Maybe you could even call someone up and ask them what rituals they've been part of. So here it asks you to complete the section, other rituals my friend or family member have been involved in include. So you're to make a note there to describe the ritual they've been part of and then explain why it was that it was a ritual. So they may even explain that they've been part of a christening ritual, and in which case you'll be thinking about the importance of celebrating the life of that child and welcoming them into the Christian church, for example. It may well be that they've been an example of a ritual they've performed in football. So maybe we talked previously about the idea of swapping shirts as a sign of respect to the team and acknowledgement that they've played well, and there's no hard feelings. So again, it's just part of something that has meaning to the person involved in it that I'd like you to think about. Pause the video and have a go yourself. I'd love for you to please send me your examples of your drawings performing a ritual and your descriptions and explanations of them. Once you've completed your main activity and emailed them over so I can see, I'd like you to have some final thoughts really on our learning about ritual and how they make you feel. These are really just thoughts for yourself and points to consider. How do rituals make you feel? Do they always make you feel happy, reassured, or positive? Does everyone need to have rituals in their life? Would it make a difference if any of you could not perform the rituals that you're usually part of? Some of us may well be experiencing that in the situation we find ourselves now being at home, and I wonder how that affects you and how you feel, or whether knowing you've got that to go back to is just something which helps you to feel positive still about the rituals that you're part of. If you have time, the final thought is, what if no one performed rituals? What impact would that have on us, the way we live our lives, and the way things are as we know it? Just an opportunity for you to be able to do a little bit of deeper thinking at home. Well done, everybody. I look forward to receiving your work.